I threw together this barrel vise a while ago with the intention that it would serve one job. I used stuff I had on hand, scrap 2x4s, and though I didn't have any large enough bolts, I had these U-bolts. It's not the best looking tool, but it does serve its purpose. However, it's not as rigid as it could be. Also, this top plate bends when it's clamped down. This is the action wrench that goes along with it. Same concept, made from scrap, and it's rough, but it works. Both of these use oak blocks to fit the barrels and receivers. The barrel blocks are smooth and require a lot of force to prevent the barrel from spinning. That and chalk. The receiver blocks have a notch cut in them to fit a lug on the receiver, this one being for a Danish crag. The blocks make the barrel vise and action wrench more universal. If I want to work on a different style of rifle, I can make new blocks instead of a new wrench. That's a feature I want to keep as I build a new barrel vise and action wrench. I'll start with these flat bars. They're 2 inches wide and 3/4 of an inch thick versus the 1/2 inch of my previous tool. I'm going to cut one of these into a long section to serve as a base that clamps to the workbench. Then a shorter section that will be used to clamp the blocks with a bolt on either side. These bolts, or ones like it, will be upside down, and I want the heads recessed into the bottom of the base so that the base will be flush against the workbench, and I won't need 2 wrenches to tighten the bolts. barrel vise is complete. The bolts slide in from the bottom. These rectangular recesses prevent them from turning, and the bottom plate sits flush. These springs prevent the top plate from falling down if the blocks were removed. Regarding the size of the bolts that I chose, which are smaller than most store-bought barrel vices, the clamp load of a 1/2 inch 13 grade 8 bolt is just under 13,000 pounds. That's roughly the same as a 3/4 10 grade 2 bolt. If I need more than that, I think I'd be crushing these blocks, never mind the barrel or receiver. The barrel vise then clamps to the workbench. I'm not sure if this would be considered an action wrench or an action vise. It works the same way, clamping the blocks, except the bolts are turned by the head. Instead of a nut being threaded on, they thread into the left plate. Now that these are complete, I won't be needing my thrown together jigs anymore. I can't end the video without showing how it works. I'll grab a spare barrel and receiver. The barrel I already coated in chalk. I'll wrap it in the drywall tape, then put it in the vise. I'll snug the nuts, but I won't tighten them all the way just yet. I'll thread the receiver on. With that snugged, I'll rotate it in the barrel so that the lug is horizontal. Then add the blocks and action wrench. The action wrench doesn't need to be very tight. However, the barrel vise does to prevent it from spinning. Now I can finally say what the pipe sticking up from the action wrench is for. It's not a handle, it's for a handle to be inserted into. I'm using a piece of 1-inch round bar, about 28 inches long. I wanted to keep this a separate piece so that it's easier to attach the action wrench without it. Plus I can always replace this with a longer piece if I need more leverage for a stuck action. Now let's see how well these work. I'm aligning the extractor grooves at roughly 11 o'clock here. A bit more to go. And that's perfect. That was very easy. The increased rigidity and leverage mean that less force is needed in order to torque the action. That will also mean it will take less force to remove a barrel from a receiver in the future. I'm not going to show the process of making blocks to fit different rifles, because frankly, I don't need to work on any other type of rifle at the moment. Maybe in the future I can show how that's done. But anyway, I'm happy I took the time to make this. It's something I won't be embarrassed to show on camera. With that, thanks for watching.